This is every single fight to make after UFC Fight Night Vegas 60 Sandhagen versus Song. I've got all of the key fighters from that card on the screen right now. Some winners, some losers, and you may notice there is an empty box next to all of them, and that's where their next opponent's going to go, who I have hidden around the perimeter of the screen. I'll slowly reveal those opponents one by one as the video goes on and place them where they belong on the screen. Let's start straight away with the main event, Cory Sandhagen versus Song Yudong. Some people scored it one way, some people scored it another way, but regardless, Cory Sandhagen was confirmed the winner after it got stopped after the 4th round. In between rounds 4 and 5, Song Yudong's cut was getting worse, and they called off the fight. But I feel like this is recoverable for Song Yudong, and also Cory Sandhagen, although he did take some big shots, is looking to get back in there this year. And I know someone else who's always looking to be active and get back in there that year as well, and someone that he called out. And it's not Merab Dvalishvili, it's Marlon Vera. When I hear someone call out Merab Dvalishvili or Marlon Vera for a title elimination bout potential, let's just ignore Marlon. Let's just ignore Merab Dvalishvili's name. He doesn't want to fight Algeo. Absolutely ignore him. If he's going to be in a bantamweight division and Algeo's going to be champ, we can't have him potentially beating contenders and then just not fighting for the belt. That's how you destroy a division. So let's just ignore him until he gets the message and goes down to flyweight to fight Askar Askarov. Let's see Cory Sandhagen versus Marlon Vera on the December pay-per-view card. The only reason I say the pay-per-view card is because all of the Fight Night main events in December are booked. They've all got matchups made, so I feel as though this is the only thing they can possibly do. Cory Sandhagen, Marlon Vera is a perfect matchup to add to that December pay-per-view card. And it sounds amazing to me. It really does. And I also feel as though Cory Sandhagen and Marlon Vera are such guaranteed entertainment. You could put them as the ABC Fight Night main event. There's a lot that you can do with these two guys. And if Cory Sandhagen wants a Christmas present before Christmas, and Marlon Vera, a guy who loves to spend the holidays with his family, spend Christmas with his family, spend New Year's with his family, he's probably not going to want to fight in January. He's going to want to fight before then and then have those holidays off with his family and stuff like that. So Cory Sandhagen, Marlon Vera, December pay-per-view card, 3-rounder. And for Cory Sandhagen, that's a blessing, because anyone who can spend as little time as possible in the cage against Marlon Vera is benefiting from that. So Cory Sandhagen, Marlon Vera, 3-rounder on the main card of UFC 270, 282, I believe it would be. And I think that'll be a good time. So make it happen. Amazing fight to have for the end of the year or any time. I just feel like this is a real good one and a good potential title elimination bout in the bantamweight division. Moving on to another fight that took place, which is Song Yudong, the same guy, Song Yudong. He lost in the main event against Cory Sandhagen, but he didn't lose too much stock. There's a man fighting, I believe, next month. His name is Kyler Phillips. An important name in reference to Song Yudong. He's fighting in a month or so. He was supposed to fight Jack Shaw, but that opponent pulled out, so I'm assuming they're going to find him someone else to take on. They might even, fill in with a Frankie Edgar or someone else who's ranked in the bantamweight division. Maybe a Said Nurmagomedov. Who knows? Maybe not too much of a bad matchup. Someone will fill in to take on Kyler Phillips. He's a top-ranked guy, close to, I think he's top 20 or something like that. So, yeah, Song Yudong, Kyler Phillips. If Phillips can beat his opponent that gets replaced for Jack Shaw, and if he gets past that one, I say we do these two together again next year, because Song Yudong, Kyler Phillips, both upcoming stars, both upcoming prospects, and you want to know which one you want to put all your eggs in the basket of moving forward. And also for Song Yudong, although he's really good and he showed he can compete on the top level, I think that's 7 losses now. So you want to start removing some of those losses off of his record to sort of do a little bit of damage control, you know what I'm saying? Before you start letting this guy get into his 30s, we can start fixing some of the, some of the bad little blemishes on that record potentially. I personally believe he could win a rematch against Kyler Phillips, because I think he's improved rapidly over the past few years. But this also gives Kyler Phillips a chance to move up the rankings that he arguably deserves, because he beat Song Yudong. He's ranked below him. If he wins, you'll be looking for someone up the rankings. Why not the guy you've already beaten? That sort of gives them a reason to take you on and have to take that fight. So Song Yudong, Kyler Phillips, 2 in a good position on a Fight Night card. Maybe a co-main event. Sounds good to me. Moving on To another fight, Gregory Rodrigues defeated Chidi Njokuani in a great performance, and I feel as though he should be looking to take on Joaquin Buckley in the middleweight division. Listen, Gregory Rodrigues is good, but I think he's now on a one-fight win streak. I know you arguably could say he should have beaten Arman Petrosyan, but he didn't, so he's still quite low down the rankings, but this win has sort of jumped him up a little bit. Someone who's on a loss right now to Nasruddin Imavov is Joaquin Buckley, and I just feel as though Gregory Rodrigues is kind of being understood by the fan base to be an extremely exciting fighter, and so is Joaquin Buckley. And I think now that both guys are known by the fan base as really exciting, this is a fight you can put high up on a fight night card. Main event, good main event, co-main event, whatever you want to do, another good ranked co-main event. But in a feature fight of Gregory Rodrigues versus Joaquin Buckley, and Buckley says he's staying at middleweight as well, that sounds like a great rebound, because I think those two would go to war, have an amazing scrap. Buckley's great at defending takedowns early on, so I think it will be an all-out war on the feet with both guys swinging back and forth. Both guys have got great chins. Both guys have got knockout power. I love that fight. I think that would be an amazing matchup, and I think it would be a reason to put both of their names in a high position up the card, because you know the fight's going to deliver, and fans, if they pay attention, know that fight's going to deliver greatness as well. Moving on to another fight, Andre Fili defeated Algeo. Interesting decision, but he got the win, so he's going to be moving forward in his career. He is now on a one-fight win streak, though, so obviously he's not going to get too much momentum and jump too high up the rankings. I feel as though Andre Fili should be looking to take on Joshua Calibal in the featherweight division. Unfortunately for Andre Fili, and even unfortunately as well for like Damon Jackson and stuff like that, these guys aren't going to be treated like up-and-coming prospects are. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be used to try and get the young guys to the top. If they can deny that, then that's good for them. You know what I mean? Like, they can then move themselves forward, but they're going to be used to get younger prospects to the top, especially Andre Fili, because they pay him a lot of money. They're not going to start babying him and protecting his career and stuff like that and building him up. Like, they've already tried to do that so many times. So Andre Fili versus Joshua Calibal. Joshua Calibal coming off a great performance against Sung Woo Choi. He's still only 2-1-1 in the UFC, but he arguably could have beaten Charles Jourdain when he fought him. So he's pretty high up outside the rankings, and I think this is just a good matchup to make. Give Andre Fili a little bit of time off, and then early next year, January, February, Andre Fili versus Joshua Calibal seems like the natural steps that you would make in the outside the ranking area of the featherweight division. Moving on to another fight that took place on the main card. Body Bags Joe Pyfer had an amazing KO. I'm still not over that KO. It was great. I know it was against Alan Amedovski, so you should arguably just easily beat him anyway. But it was such a slick KO. I wish he never followed up and it was just over off that one punch. But either way, Joe Pyfer says he doesn't want to fight till the start of next year. He doesn't want to fight till the end of the year. He wants to take a holiday, build himself up for the weight class. I think he's quite big for it, but he says he wants to pack on a little bit of muscle, build up some size. And I would like to see Joe Pyfer take on Dustin Stoltzfus, a man who's going to need a little bit of time off because his mouth's messed up from Abbas Magomedov's toe, smashing him in the roof of the mouth and KOing him in the first round. So he's not going to be rushing to get back in there anytime soon. He's coming off a TKO loss. So early next year, early February, maybe something like that. Let's do Joe Pyfer versus Dustin Stoltzfus 2. Of course, you'll remember these guys were fighting each other on the Contender Series, and Dustin Stoltzfus went for a big takedown on Joe Pyfer. Pyfer defended it, but as he did so, he snapped his arm really badly. You've seen it advertised everywhere as like a part of Joe Pyfer's story. So I feel as though if we're going to move Joe Pyfer forward as a prospect, we need to, again, do some damage control here. Get that Dustin Stoltzfus loss figured out. You know what I mean? Let's get it figured out. If he's better than him, let's find out. Let's not have that, oh, well, you know, that Dustin Stoltzfus fight, though, that loss, you know what I mean? While we can, let's try and redeem as many losses as we can of this up-and-comer in Joe Pyfer and give him that Dustin Stoltzfus fight, make that rematch happen while we can, because they're in a perfect position to do so. Stoltzfus is like a win one, lose one type of guy. Pyfer just beat literally the lowest ranked guy. Alan Amedovski, I believe, is ranked, I don't know, if there's 60 guys in the middleweight division, he's ranked 60th. That's how low ranked he is. So he's not going to jump up to like the Anthony Hernandezes of the division or anything like that. So yeah, I think that's what should happen. Joe Pyfer, Dustin Stoltzfus 2. Make that matchup happen. Winner moves forward to take on some tougher competition at middleweight. Moving on. Anthony Hernandez. I feel like that's not his name. I think it's his name. Anthony Hernandez gets a big win. And has an amazing performance. Really, really good performance. Really solid win over Marc-Andre Barriault. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next. So I feel he should take on Gerald Meerschaert. It's time for him to be Meerschaerted. Okay? That's what it's time to test this man against the old GM3. You know what I mean? We've seen him take people down that don't want to be taken down. But what about people that kind of don't mind being taken down? And Gerald Meerschaert, let's test his grappling against a good grappler in the middleweight division that's really going to see just where the grappling of Hernandez really is. You know what I mean? Because we need to know. We need to know where he's at in the division. We've seen him beat people that he arguably should be beating. So let's give him a bad style matchup if he can get past him. And listen, Gerald Meerschaert, I believe, is like coming up to the top 20 of the middleweight division. Like, he's no slouch. It's not like I'm giving him a layup here. This is genuinely a jump up the rankings for Hernandez. So let's do it. Hernandez, Meerschaert, good position on a fight night card. Feature fight position, main card opener again. We'll see what they want to do with it. But I think both names are known enough now to put that in a decent spotlight on a card and move Hernandez's career forward. Moving on to another fighter. Damon Jackson got a big win over Pat Sabatini. Bonus, no damage. I say we move him on real quick. Get him right back in there against Lerone Murphy, who's looking to fight in December. According to him, he's been injured. Of course, I think he had a bit of a car accident or something like that. So let's do Damon Jackson versus Lerone Murphy. Winner gets a ranked opponent. Lerone Murphy's looking to fight this year. I was going to say Julian Erosa, but he just had a tough 3-round fight. Not a tough one in terms of he didn't get KO'd, but he scrapped for 3 rounds. So he's not going to be turning around too quickly here. And Nathaniel Wood is looking to fight on the London card. He's injured his hand in one of the fight or whatever fight he had against Charles Jourdain. So let's do Damon Jackson, Lerone Murphy. Both guys are top contenders outside the rankings of the featherweight division, and whoever wins that one might be looking at number 15 ranking spot. Maybe they're looking at a ranked opponent. We'll see what they do, but I think that's a good matchup to make. Jackson versus Murphy. Moving on, Javid Basharat got a great win, an amazing win over Tony Gravely, and I think we should move him on against Davy Grant. We've seen him beat a good striker in Trevin Jones with power. We've seen him beat a good grappler in Tony Gravely. Let's see him deal with the danger of dangerous Davy Grant, because this is a big test for bantamweights. A big test. You got to deal with the knockout power, the chin that he has, the wildness of him. We've seen this test with Adrian Yanez. He smokes, what's his name? Tony Kelly. Smoked him in the first round. He smokes Gustavo Lopez. He beat Mana Martinez as well on the Contender Series. And he beat another guy as well in the UFC, and he made it look easy. But now let's see him take on a tough guy, and that was, for Adrian Yanez, Davy Grant, and he made it a really close decision. So I feel, as even for Marlon Vera, you see him finishing guys now. Davy Grant was scrapping with him early on. He makes it a scrap no matter what. So now let's test the mettle. Let's test the mettle of Javid Basharat. Let's see how tough he is. Let's see how he deals with a chaotic, wild fight. And that's a good jump up for him as well in the bantamweight division. He's 2-0 now. He's going to be looking for a slight step up. Not just outside the rankings yet, but the fight that's going to get him to that top 20 area, to where he can start calling out people just outside the rankings and then start looking for ranked opponents. Javid Basharat, Davy Grant on the London card, I think is perfect. They're both English-ish. So let's make it happen. I think that'll be a good one. Javid Basharat, Davy Grant on the UK card in February 2023. Perfect, in my opinion. Moving on to another fight, which is Rodrigo Nascarmento Ferreira beat Tanabosa, I guess. He got his hand raised, so he should be looking to take on Alexander Romanov. Both grapplers. You don't really want too many grapplers. They ruin the sport, so let's put them against each other. Romanov lost recently to Tybura. Nascarmento's going to need a little bit of time off as well. Let's maybe do this on the Brazil card in January. Nascarmento Ferreira, Alexander Romanov on the prelims of the Brazil pay-per-view in January. Sounds good to me. Any questions? I thought not. This is the perfect way of doing things. I like it. It just makes sense. I really like these videos. I know you guys like these videos as well, so be sure to like the video, because I enjoy making these ones. It feels like, you know, an arts and crafts project where I'm getting real creative with it, you know. I like doing these, so let me know if you enjoy me doing them. But these are some ones I really want to happen, though. I want to see Song Yudong, Kyler Phillips too, because I think that's what we need, man. If we're going to push these young prospects forward, you need to start wiping out some of their losses. And that's the same feeling that I have towards the Joe Pyfer versus Dustin Stoltzfus fight. I think that's perfect to make right now, because the first fight arguably didn't even happen. And even on the Contender Series, Dana White could have literally said, okay, we're just going to put you guys on a later episode or another season and fight again, and whoever wins that one can come through. Stoltzfus is very lucky to even get the contract. So, let's make it happen again, the rematch, and let's see who really is the better fighter out of the two of them while we still can. Toodle pip. See you later. Goodbye. Like and subscribe. Cheerio.